difficulty there. Hold on. Let me clean off that. There we go. A little bit of technical difficulty with the media phone. So sorry about that. But we are up and live now. We are making rustic French onion brat. Note the apron, the rustic looking apron. And this is one of our newer seasonings. Let me get some stuff out of the way here. It is absolutely delicious. I'm going to get my laptop up so I can see everybody's comments here. We have a bunch of new seasonings that just came out. The big one I think everybody assumes is going to be Mac Attack brat. But, what's up, Ryan? But I say if you give rustic French onion a chance, that is going to be the biggest bratwurst that we have or have had since Philly brat, maybe. It is absolutely delicious. It has tons of flavor to it and everything you would want in a bratwurst. A really nice amount of umami taste, very, very savory. I think it's absolutely delicious. As always, I have my trusty Miller Lights here. Everything has already been sanitized. We're gonna get going. I've got a nice pork butt here. I'm very excited about this pork butt. This is not one of the ones that we bought at just a local grocery store. This came from a processor of ours. I've had this frozen for about a month now. Defrosted it for about 6 hours today, so it should be nice and ready to be ground up. I'm using our Walton's 22 with our one shot on it, so I'm gonna do both grinds in a single pass. Since I only have a single pork butt, I'm not gonna bother with dirtying up a 50-pound meat mixer, and I'm gonna do the mixing just with my hands. We're gonna stuff off our 11-pound stuffer into 30mm fresh collagen, cooking it on the Camp Chef, and then eating it. It's gonna be absolutely delicious. John Belvedere, what's going on, buddy? I'll try to stay on as long as I can. Prior commitment, I'm dying to make the Mac Attack. Hopefully either later this week or early next week. Mac Attack is very good. If you love mac and cheese, you will love the Mac Attack. But I'm telling you, once you've tried rustic French onion, Mac Attack will fade into the background. Go away. You won't even remember it. This, I'm hoping, because I believe this is the bratwurst that will be very successful out of this entire new line. Tex, we talked quickly last week. Are you guys still in a drought up there? Because we could send you some rain. It's been absolutely insane here how much rain we have. It just keeps dumping, and we're all clay soil here, so it just runs. Every creek, every pond, everything is full up. It's absolutely incredible. So I've got a pork butt here. Like I said, I'm very excited about this one. It's a nice pork butt, not much water in it. We're gonna cut right along this bone at an angle to separate as much of the just regular meat from the bone as possible. And this is still pretty frozen right in the middle. So we're gonna be a little bit careful, put a little bit smaller amounts down there as usual. Usually when you're doing a bratwurst grind, which we recommend you grind twice, first through a 3/8 plate or a chunker plate, then through a 3/16 plate or chunker kidney. The one shot does them in both, and it doesn't love frozen meat. It wants your meat just, cold, but not quite frozen. So we're gonna put a little bit smaller chunks down there than usual. Ryan says it's still really dry down there. Michael Milan. Oh, Mr. USMC Hack says, good evening, welcome. Glad you could join us. We are just boning out our pork butt right now. And then once we've got these all ready, like I said, we're gonna throw them on the grill. I've got the Camp Chef out there heating up. I'm gonna try and be very careful here and not cut myself, because I have to do a cooking demonstration this week in Montana. Allie and I, along with another employee, Courtney, who I don't think you guys have ever met, are going up to the BHA Rendezvous, Backcountry Hunters and Anglers Rendezvous. And one of the days I'm doing a cooking demonstration, and other than that, the three of us are gonna have a great time meeting tons of cool people, having some drinks, and just chilling. Being in the mountains, there's not a whole lot better than that. Getting to make sausage in front of a bunch of outdoor enthusiasts in Montana doesn't get much better than that, for me at least. So I'm just cutting along all, the nooks and crannies. You guys know what I don't know if this is technically a scapula or scapula. That's what it always reminds me of a pork butt looks like. We've got the flat side, and we've got those nice 2 little rivets with some good meat in there. So I just like to scoop them out with a boning knife, something that has some good flexibility to it. I asked in the Meat Logistics forum, do you guys get rid of your 20-pound electric stuffer? No. Nope, we still have it. I don't even think we're out of stock on it. I believe we have more stock of it. In general, I know this is going to come off as, it's not bad, but I just nicked myself. We won't even say cut, we'll say nicked. But I definitely did just nick myself. Maybe I can't do 2 things at once. We're going to put a glove over this glove and keep going. I know this is going to come off as self-promoting or whatever, but I really do prefer the 30-pound electric stuffer over the 20-pound electric stuffer. Now, I've got a good reason for that. How the supports are in there, right? It's the same width. It's the exact same width of canister and piston. It's just different heights. The support structure on the 30-pound does tend to be more stable than the 20-pound. Yes, it's more expensive, but think of all the times I've told people not to buy a 30-pound or 33-pound, whatever the old largest model of the manual stuffer, or a 26-pound manual stuffer, and directed them to the 11-pound. So I am being honest. I like the more expensive than this. I use boneless butts for brats. Do you ever do boneless brats? Sure. There's no difference between them other than somebody's already gone in and removed the bone for you. That's literally all it is. So we're just cutting this up. I'm cutting it up into nice long strips. I have been doing the necklace look recently, where I make one long strand and just feed it down the grinder. But we've already cut ourselves tonight, or nicked. We're just gonna say nicked. I've already nicked myself tonight. So we're just gonna go with something nice and easy to get this done. Can't believe I was just talking about not cutting myself and then I cut myself. Allie Walton in the chat, what's going on? Thoughts on Chumbawamba? I don't have thoughts on them. I get knocked down, but I get up again. So yeah, I'm a, whatever you would call that, pop music fan. I'm not a big country person, but I do love pop music. I'm gonna move this out of the way, and we are gonna get to grinding. Everything's already been oiled, and like I said, everything's already been sanitized. Maxim hard surface sanitizer, not expensive, and spray it on, let it sit for 60 seconds, and everything that your meat is gonna touch is gonna be sanitized. It's gonna make a big difference for you. Bone-in butts are the way to go. As an Italian, the bone goes in the sauce. Yeah, but John, I don't think that matters with what we're doing here. Someone said I'm a Swiftie for sure. Listen, Taylor Swift makes good songs. They're catchy. I don't care. Call me whatever you want. I'm secure enough to admit that I like some Taylor Swift songs. Oh well. I don't like Travis Kelce though. She's too good for him. And I'm sure that'll upset some people. So, turning on the grinder. We have a 3/16 plate on here. Just gonna feed all the meat through, just like usual. I don't even have a stomper out for this. You don't want to use the stomper. It creates more back pressure. And especially with our one shot, we don't want to do that. I'm not wrong. Travis Kelce is overrated as a human being. I have nothing to back that up. He seems like actually a pretty nice guy. He doesn't seem like as good a guy as his brother. So you can hear that. I wouldn't call that a struggle at all, but I'm trying to put just a little bit down at a time because the meat is still somewhat frozen. Oh no, am I gonna have to get my stomper? I really don't want to. Grab it. If I won't grab it in a second, I'm gonna grab the stomper. That's sad. I was so happy about not having my stomper out. And now I have been proven to be stupid yet again. So we just sprayed that. We're gonna let it sit while it sanitizes because it came right out of the drawer. I moved to Australia 10 years ago. I miss Miller Lite so bad. Where are you in Australia? I don't know if you're new to this channel or not, but I have a little obsession with great white sharks, so I'm very interested in your answer there. I'm glad the stream popped up on my YouTube. I'm locked in. Thank you, Trade. I appreciate that. Kelsey Garage Beer is pretty good too. I can't disagree with that. We drank them one day over the winter when we were in my friend's garage. He bought a golf simulator. We drank a bunch of those garage beers and they were absolutely delicious. Karen's first time viewer. All right, so Karen's, where is that? Is that East Coast, West Coast, North, South? A funny thing for you maybe is, though in 5th grade, I did a report in Australia and I've been obsessed with it my entire life. I, for whatever reason, thought New South Wales, you always see it abbreviated as NSW, and Allie can back me up on this. I legitimately, in my head, thought it stood for North Southwest. That is the level of intelligence of the person you're watching right now. NSW was North Southwest in my mind. Northeast, Great Barrier Reef. Ooh, yeah, we got some big boys up there. For anyone who's looking for a cool movie to go see, Dangerous Animals. It's a movie about a serial killer who uses sharks to do his killing. I love it. We're gonna push this down just enough until the auger can grab the meat and push it down towards the plate and knife. So it just took a little shove. And that does happen. Occasionally the meat just gets trapped right above and it doesn't get grabbed by the auger. So we're gonna feed everything down there. I'm gonna take a very small amount. I'm gonna pass it back through. This way I just know that everything's gone through at least once. Okay. So I want to show you what we're looking for here. With a nice pork butt, this is what we should get. We've got really nice pink and white definition in there. I've got nice little fat particles and nice ground lean. We don't want to see a pink, I hesitate to say the word slime because pink slime has been such an odd topic or I don't know, controversial topic. But we don't want to see it like mushed together. We want to see clearly defined white parts and clearly defined pink parts. If we don't have that, a couple of things could be going on. We could have a dull plate knife. That would do that. Our meat could be too warm, and then it's what's called smearing. And those are pretty much the two things. So we're just gonna get all of this, and because I passed the meat through twice, everything's been ground, so I'm free to add this in there. If we don't re-add a little bit of ground meat back through there, we have a tendency to have some chunks of meat back here that don't work terribly well. In a bratwurst, it's not as big a deal, but if it's a summer sausage, a snack stick, something like that, that definitely would matter. That's New York City education for you. Yes, yes, yes. I'm not from New York City. He probably hears Austin use the words, then tries to use them himself. Listen, my vocabulary for somebody of my IQ is pretty good. If you ask me math questions, geometry, not so good. But I did okay on the verbal portion of my SAT. All right, we're gonna get that out of the way. We're gonna measure how much we have. Now with this rustic French brat, it is 0.92 pounds. So that's gonna average, or not average out, that's gonna break out to 0.588 of an ounce, 0.58 of an ounce to every pound of meat. So I know this lug weighs 1.7 pounds. So I'm gonna weigh this, take 1.7 off of it, and I have 7.9, so I have 6.2. So I'm gonna take 0.58 and multiply that by 6.2. And because I had to use my phone to do this live stream, I've got the media form, 0.58 times 6.2. All right, 3.6. I'm looking for 3.6 ounces of this seasoning. For that, I want to use a more accurate scale than either this Escali M series or our Walton's 660-pound scale. I'm using this Escali precision scale. Anyone who's watched this channel for any amount of time knows how much I like that scale. It is really hyper accurate at low weights. That knife could use a sharpening. And we're just gonna measure out 3.6 ounces. Three 3.2, 3.4, 3.57, and 3.78. Of course I went over. But that'll be all right. A little extra flavor never killed anything. Now the first time I made this, I did not add any cheese. This time, I've got some high temp Swiss cheese that I am really excited to use. Yeah, I probably should be measuring grams if we're talking about something like sodium erythorbate or an incredibly potent additive, but we're talking about seasoning here, and fractions of ounces is more than enough. So take your, you're calling me some New Yorker, take your pretentious whatever somewhere else. So I'm gonna add the seasoning in here. And for anyone who's not watching or is watching for the first time, Ryan Jones and I are good friends. And I'm gonna add some Miller Lite in instead of water. And just a little bit, doesn't need much. Now when I mix this in, let's see if I can tilt this up on something so you guys can see what I'm trying to do here. Ooh. I've got a tactical bacon can here from like 2018. We're gonna eat that on the podcast coming up here shortly. So I'm just gonna use that to try and tilt this. I don't wanna get any protein extraction here. I just wanna mix in all the seasoning to all the meat. I'm actively trying to not work the meat too much. I'm just basically, for you bakers like Allie, I'm just trying to fold everything in. I want the seasoning distributed correctly, but once I start getting the meat sticky, we're gonna change its consistency, and it's not gonna be what we're looking for in a bratwurst. So I'm being very careful here. I'm keeping my fingers open and my hands nice and relaxed. I'm just pushing the seasoning through all the meat. Now, if we were doing a snack stick or a summer sausage, I'd be actively trying to work this meat basically as much as I can with each pass. I'd be squeezing it as I'm mixing everything in. But again, here I'm trying not to get protein extraction. Allie, when are you live streaming something sourdough bread? So Allie and I are going to be doing a live stream at some point in the near future. She made the best hors d'oeuvre I've had in I don't know how long. It was sourdough bread with apple slices, was it Havarti cheese, and ham. And then I think a little bit of hot honey. She gave me all of it when I left. I ate most of it that night. Then I woke up in the middle of the night, ate more, and then I ate the rest of it for breakfast. It really was. I forgot to compliment you again on how good that was. That was absolutely amazing. All right. Now we're going to add a little bit of cheese. And once we have that evenly mixed in, we will be good to go. So with a bratwurst, something around 10% is a good amount. So I'm going to add half of this bag-ish. If we're talking about a snack stick or a summer sausage, I actually like to go a little bit lighter on the cheese. I know it doesn't sound like much, but I like to go for 8%. But with a bratwurst, kind of the more cheese to some degree, the better. And with a French onion, you want a cheese like the high temp Swiss. Cheddar would not work well here. Ghost pepper would be way too much. So cheddar, or Swiss, I think is the call. All right, got everything nice and mixed in. We are gonna move to stuffing. As soon as we get this all stuffed, I'm gonna link it, and then we will get everything on the grill, and we'll talk about the flavor, which, once again, I am incredibly high on this seasoning. I have high hopes that this will be the next Philly bratwurst in popularity. I'm gonna take off this glove. I'm gonna go wash it real quick. I will be right back. I don't think it's bad, but I think it's definitely, I nicked myself. Whoops. Allie, if you're still watching, it's not bad at all. Totally fine. Barely cut myself. Hardly even touched it. Mozzarella, yes, maybe, but not as good as Swiss. I think Swiss for a French onion is the way to go. And Al, just to be clear, I cut myself before you got here. And why I said whoops when I walked away is because it started to clot. As I pulled the glove off, like kind of the clot came with it, if that makes sense. It was not a good look. I don't need a medic. You've never met anyone in your life who needs a medic less than I do. Or would accept a medic less than I do, I guess. Needs might actually be the correct term. All right, so I've got our 11-pound sausage stuffer here. Oh, sorry. I've got the suction cup feet on it. So once I set it down on this table, it tends to get stuck pretty good. Let me get this inside for you guys. So I just push it down. That engages those cups. And we are going to get a glove over this finger. Yeah, it's not bad at all. Aaron Boak says, torn between that and the new mac and cheese brat seasoning. So, it all depends on what you like. I like savory stuff with like a lot of umami flavor. So to me, the rustic French onion is the way to go. However, the mac and cheese brat is great. Like, it's really good, and it has the added benefit of having the noodles. So it's got like something a little extra in it, a little bit different. And I guess that, like, it is kind of exciting. Like, it's a cool new seasoning, and rustic French onion doesn't sound as cool. I'm hoping, though, long term, that the novelty of the mac and cheese will lose out to just this amazing flavor of the rustic French onion. And I know I shouldn't have favorites, but you know, I don't have kids. I had two dogs, and I had a favorite there. You're allowed to have favorites. It's okay. All right, so I'm just pushing all that meat down to make sure I don't have air pockets in there. And we're gonna start stuffing. This is 30 millimeter fresh collagen. I love the 30 millimeter. However, it doesn't fit over the 22 millimeter tube. So I've got our 16 millimeter tube right here. Makes it a little bit more difficult to stuff, but not much. Just a little bit more difficult to stuff. So our 11-pound stuffer has 2 gears. Top gear is for backing out the piston and getting it down to where it engages with meat only. Once you get down to the meat, you have to switch, or you should, no, you have to. Switch to the lower gear, that's what you stuff off of. So now, as soon as I feel any resistance on that one, just take the handle off, move it to the lower one, and we start twisting. Let me get everything out of the way here. I'm gonna grab the stuffing horn with 2 fingers and just make sure that I'm adding some pressure. I don't wanna hold it on too tightly and overfill the casing, but I don't wanna underfill the casing either. I'll try and show you what I talk about with collagen casings. You wanna see a faint swirl pattern running down the sausage the entire length. If you don't see any swirl pattern, you're overstuffing it. If everything looks crinkly, you're understuffing it. Both of those create problems. However, most of the time, overstuffing creates more problems than understuffing. Are there any coupons for the 30-pound stuffer for Father's Day or other? We do have a Father's Day coupon right now. It is Dad 15, but it is only good on the barbecue accessories category. So I'm gonna start stuffing here. And as soon as the meat starts coming out, I'm pressing down on the casing. And I just wanna make sure that I'm stuffing it full enough where I'm seeing that faint swirl pattern I was talking about run down the entire length of the casing. Now I only had, what did I say, 6.2 pounds. So this isn't gonna take long to stuff at all. I'm gonna cook just a few of these bratwursts tonight because Allie and I have plans for the rest of it. When we're done with this, I will show you our Walton stuffer flusher eggs, which I probably should have thought I hadn't already had sanitized, but I didn't. So I'm just being consistent on the handle, not racking it real hard. And there we go, we're done with that. I'm gonna bring it all the way back up. I'm gonna find the stuffer flusher eggs, and I'll be right back. I think they're in this drawer over here. And I was wrong. They're in the utensils drawer. So these are stuffer flusher eggs, and I'm just gonna real quick spritz them. And we're gonna let them sit for a little bit. They are something that Dr. Payne and longtime logistics members hopefully remember him. He was a guy who was a physical therapist, and he recommended these for this specific purpose. What we do is we put them down in the bottom of the stuffer after we've stuffed everything. They will actually push all the meat out, and we should have them right here in the bell of this stuffing tube, meaning we pushed all the meat out we could possibly get other than what's in here. you're doing larger diameter sausages, it could actually get pushed out into your sausage. I know that happened to Tex. It's happened to me. I think Tex might have actually cooked one in it. I know I saw mine go out and grabbed it, but I think Tex may have cooked one. What was your question? Who's your favorite Walton? I mean, that's not that hard. It's Brett. That's not even a... I don't know why that would be a hard question to answer. And Allie is very aware of that. Oh, no, it's Sandy. It's actually Sandy. Sandy, Brett, Cole, and then I don't think I know any other ones. So I'm just stuffing this, and all I'm doing is pushing all the meat that was in the bottom of the canister and in this little receptacle down here out into the bell. We'll cut that off. I'll show you guys. We should have those eggs right down in there, right? So these eggs have come down all the way through the receptacle. They've pushed basically all of the meat out. So we're just losing less of our meat at the bottom. Now that's a good thing, except for I used to love to take what was at the bottom of there and make patties out of it. And we don't really get to do that anymore. Ryan would vote to fire me. That's aggressive. I would say I know where you work, Ryan, but I don't listen when you talk, so I don't know where you work. So we're just going to make probably 4 or 5 brats out of this and then leave the rest as a rope for tomorrow. Bunch of different ways you can link sausage. Collagen is awesome because it's easy to use right out of the package. You saw me take it out of the package, put it right on the stuffing horn, and we were good to go. But it does have downsides. One of those is that it doesn't want to really accept a twist, right? So I've twisted this a bunch. I have a nice looking sausage there. Well, as soon as I cut that, this casing is going to come undone. It's going to open back up. So it won't have that really nice closed look that you can get with some cellulose and with natural casings. However, natural casings, you've got a bunch of prep work you have to do, so it's just up to you what's more important. So I twist it one way, I fold it down, pinch it there, and then I twist it the opposite way. And then I fold it down, twist it, or pinch it, and twist it the original way. Down, pinch, twist. And that's it. You can skip every other sausage if you want. We've done it plenty of times, but it just seems more complicated than it's worth. The 3 seconds it saves you. Ryan says, I'll remember or Allie, just remember to bring that segment of the stream up here. I don't know what you're talking about. And that wasn't my fault. I'm like Ron Burgundy. I'm going to read what's in front of me. So I'm just cutting in between where I linked everything. Oop. And like I said, this knife needs a run on the True Home. So I've got a couple of brats here. We're going to throw those on the grill that hopefully is heated. I cleaned it earlier today. There's a bunch of ash I pulled out of it. Hold on one second. Oh, okay. I swear I thought I heard voices outside. So I've got just 5 brats here. We're going to get these on a plate. We're going to take them outside, and we will get them cooking. We're going to cook them on the Camp Chef Woodwind pellet grill. There we go. We're just going to throw them on here. and then I'm gonna go grab a beer, and we'll pay attention to chat. Be right back. All right, does anyone have any what it's like to work at Walton's questions? No, they're not the voices in my head. Those sound different. Very different voices. Did I just lose everything? Seems like it came back. Seems like it came back. I'm hoping it came back. What's it like having Allie as your boss? I've told her and everyone else, I'm so happy Allie's back. It makes my life so much easier. She's trying to focus on making content, and that makes my life way better. Allie and I had a talk. Wow, it's great. I love working for Allie. Not that I didn't love working for Austin. I did as well, but Allie knows everything about social media and what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. I mean, case in point, we have it's an Instagram post, I think, with like, at this point, I don't know, 60 million views. Listen, you could add up every view we probably had on social media before she came back, and we didn't have 60 million views. And then we have a bunch of other ones over 1 million, so she knows what she's doing, and that makes it more fun to work. Yeah. Give me a second. All right. We're going to go back inside. Ah! Unfortunately, I just lost the beer as I was coming back in. But yeah, the choppy video thing, that was something that we talked about on a couple live streams ago. When we go out to the back deck, unfortunately, we don't have the best internet out there right now. Our IT department is working on adding some Wi-Fi extenders out there. But in here, it's obviously much better. So we'll stay in here while that cooks out there. But does anyone else have questions on what it's like to work at Walton's? While I grab my beer, think of that. And this poor guy has been to the wars. Fallen soldier. Feel bad for him. We lost about 90% of that beer. That was sad. There are in between like 55 and 65 employees here. I think it matters depending on the time of year. During busy season, we bring in more part-time help, especially in the warehouse. But yeah, I think it's in between 55 and 65. So Allie says 60. So there you go. But yeah, so that's cooking out there. In the meantime, what I'd like, we can read the ingredient statement on our Rustic French Onion Bratwurst. We can't for two reasons. One, I cut the bottom of the bag, so unless I want to read upside down, which I can't do, all the seasonings are going to come out. But more importantly, that text is so small, and my eyes at this point are so bad that there's no chance I'm reading that. I bet your work parties are awesome. All that good food. Yep. We just did, every month we do something we call Party on the Patio. Last month we did a bigger one where we invited families and stuff like that. I made 150-ish patties out of a couple of different patty seasonings. Cooked those. So yeah, we try to have good food for everybody, and we're always making something. I mean, not every day, but there was a while there when we first moved into this building where we were making something that felt like every day. Mr. USM Hack says, I will bet you guys have tons of competitions. We used to. We don't so much anymore. Mostly because Austin's just been pulled in other directions. He's got a bunch of other things he has to focus on. But when I look back at some of the old videos, like the weird, fun things we used to do, competition stuff, yeah, that makes me laugh. You should add caramelized onion to the sausage. Absolutely. If you want to make it more authentic, that would be a great way to do it. And caramelized onions are just delicious. Doesn't matter if you do them on the grill, on the griddle, whatever. They're absolutely delicious. Am I good? Yeah, I'm good. I'm confused by your question, Ali. Is it because of, like, you're asking if I'm mentally doing okay because my beer dropped when I was coming in the door? I mean, I'm struggling from that a little bit, but it's okay. The competitions do make it fun. Yep. And we've got some upcoming Willet barbecues that we're going to do that hopefully get Austin a little bit uncomfortable. He's going to have to eat some things that he was hoping, I'm sure he was hoping he wouldn't have to eat. I'm going to go turn those brats. I'll be right back. So my grill is set to 350 degrees. Every time I open it, I bleed a couple of degrees on that. So it's right around 305 right now. I don't know. I like smaller grills. This Camp Chef Woodwind I have is the 36-inch model. I have the 24-inch at home. I tend to prefer the smaller grills just because I don't cook for huge amounts of people normally, and they keep their heat a little bit better. A sausage competition between Kurt and Brett. I don't know the last time either one of them like actually made a sausage. That might be fun, Allie. Seeing which one of them like with no help from us. They have to make it from start to finish. I'm sure they both could. I'm absolutely sure they both could. Cooking it may be where they run into a few struggles, but that would be fun. Guys should do a hot one style show with varying degrees of hot sausages and sauce. Yep. We have talked about that. What do they say? Flattery is the highest compliment, highest form of compliment. That show was awesome. I absolutely loved it. I remember like 2017, 18, the first time I saw it when Shaq was on it, and his actual comment was, "What does Kansas know about hot sauce?" And then he tasted that. Whatever that second hottest one was. And his face just went like, ooh, that's going to be uncomfortable. I'm not that big a fan of incredibly hot stuff. Our ghost pepper cheese is about as hot as I want anything. Food doesn't need to be a dare. The interviews, though, is fun. So, Aaron, is the bomb actually from Kansas? I didn't know that. Because I think that is the sauce that was on that one. Will DuPont says, I'm not a huge fan of hot stuff either. My grandma keeps... Good one. Nice. You almost got me. We're gonna need someone to pre-approve comments for Ray. When we go to temp these, and I won't bring the phone back out there until we have a an extender out there. I'm going to use this ridiculous thing, a ridiculous looking thing. This is the Walton's 12-inch probe thermometer. So it's just the probe that is 12 inches. And when we first got this, I thought it was a novelty item. I didn't take it seriously at all. It is now absolutely my favorite thermometer. You can keep your head out of the smoker or out of your grill so you're not burning your eyebrows or burning your eyes. And it's really easy to temp things with this. It says, I have some of the bomb and it's great tasting and somewhat hot. The flavor is there. So what I remember from the bomb is when I was living in Richmond, Virginia, there was a old guy from Greece who worked with my ex-wife, and he was a huge fan of hot sauces. And he gave me a little bit of the bomb. He just put it on a toothpick, and I just like tasted the toothpick, and I hated it. I was sweating profusely. I'm not a huge hot sauce guy. They say it has something to do with your pain tolerance, but I think we can disagree with that because Allie has seen some of the stuff I can deal with pain, and I'm fine with pain. I just don't like hot. It is not a steak turner. Do not use this to turn your steaks. You're going to break this if you use it to turn your steaks. So don't listen to Ryan Jones. That is an incorrect statement. Use a spatula or use some tongs or something that's designed to turn a steak. That could it does look like a skewer though. I agree with that. And sorry for the very red tip of my nose. I golfed Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this past weekend. So I was out in the sun nonstop. Yeah, no, I know Austin has endorsed it for that use, but he's wrong, and you're wrong, and it shouldn't be used to turn steaks. Listen, just because he's the owner of the company, or an owner of the company, doesn't mean he knows everything. I use it more than he does, and I don't think that should be used to turn steaks. All right, I'm going to go temp these. I think we've probably got about 5 more minutes, but I'm going to temp them now. All right, we've got about 2 or 3 more minutes. Kurdistan, somewhere in the Middle East, I'm assuming, or Eastern Europe. But once I pull these off the grill, I'm hoping that my reaction to them will convince you should buy some of the Rustic French Onion Brat. Out of everything we've brought in recently, the best, without a question, is the au jus, peppery au jus jerky. Hands down, that is a 10 out of 10. That is the best jerky seasoning I've ever had. I've made a few 5-pound batches now, and I wish I had made more each time. With those, I've just been making it in the Walton's 2,000 square inch digital dehydrator because it gets up to 190 degrees. You can do everything just in that one unit. With most dehydrators, they get up to 160 degrees. That's not really hot enough to do jerky all in it. You should do oven and then jerky, or then dehydrator. But that flavor is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. If you don't like heat, No problem whatsoever. There's very, very, very little heat to it. Allie's mom, who's a well-known spice hater, still adores that jerky. And everybody else who's tried it thinks it's amazing. So that, I think, will be our best. Probably won't, because jerky doesn't sell as well unless people make jerky. That'll be our best-selling jerky seasoning out of all of this. I actually think in a couple of years it'll outsell Bold. But I'm hoping that this is the second best of all the new seasonings we brought in. It is freaking delicious. If you like French onion soup, this is, I mean, exactly that. This is comfort food, like actual comfort food. We brought in a beer and onion snack stick seasoning a couple years ago, which is in the same vein. Like, it's got that comfort food taste to it, but snack stick's not the right vehicle for a comfort food. A bratwurst is. North Texas. Could they make that flavoring for snack sticks? So, our number one ingredient in this is salt, right? So when we're making a cured sausage, like snack stick summer sausage, the main ingredient we have to worry about is, does it have enough salt? This would have probably enough salt. We might have to play with it a little bit, maybe 10% more seasoning per pound of meat, but very, very little. Very little. And it would make a delicious snack stick. How does the au jus compare to pepper and garlic? It's way better. Yeah, no, it's way better. Au jus is better than Bold. So for anyone who's followed us for a long time, I make a ton of Bold jerky seasoning. I've played around with adding extra brown sugar to it to make it tender, but still shelf stable. The pepper and garlic has always been my second favorite because there's something in the pepper and garlic that gives it like a buttery texture, but neither one of those compared to just the amazing flavor of the au jus jerky. It's, like I said, it's a 10 out of 10. All right, I'm gonna temp those and hopefully bring them right back. All right. Well, those sit there and you drool over them. I'm going to put those in the fridge. Probably should have done that a while ago, but you guys distracted me. Oh. And tend to my small little nick here. Again, we're not calling this a cut, this is just a nick. That is the problem with the suction cup feet. They stick pretty hard. I'll bring this a little bit closer so you guys can see those. All right. I figured out what the voices I was hearing was my laptop that I forgot to completely mute. So hopefully you guys weren't hearing that the whole time. So we're gonna just cut into this. We've got perfectly cooked. I mean, I want to say it's my favorite bratwurst seasoning now. I'm trying to think of something that I just absolutely prefer over it. I don't have anything. We make an insane amount of the Philly brat because Philly brat is like widely popular. Everybody likes it. This might take that over. There's nothing objectionable about it. And if you like savory and umami, this is perfect. And with the Swiss cheese, it's even better. Ryan's lying to you. He's a well-known liar. He says they are undercooked. They are absolutely not. They are perfectly cooked. He just doesn't know how to actually cook a bratwurst. Aaron says, yeah, Aaron, I cook everything to 160. Whether we're talking about bratwursts, whether we're talking about snack sticks, summer sausage. I do it for a few reasons. With brats or other fresh sausage, it just eliminates any guesswork. Like, I live in fear of giving someone food poisoning. I absolutely do not want to do that. With snack sticks and summer sausage, those are semi-dried products, and cooking them all the way up to 160 instead of stopping at 156 for whatever it is, like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. It also cooks out a little bit more water there, so it just makes it more of a semi-dried product. Here is a perfect example of why you use high temp cheese. If we used regular cheese, that delicious little nugget of fat and flavoring in the middle would have melted and run out of the sausage, and we would have just been left with a hole in there and a vague flavor of cheese. Instead, we have a perfect little piece of cheese in there. Aaron says he made 25 pounds of the pizza brat and added 2 pounds of chopped pepperoni. Good on you. That was one of the things I was most, I don't know, proud is the wrong probably term for that, but happiest that I came up with in 2020 or whatever, was adding the hard log pepperoni to the Supreme Pizza. What cheese did you use? Mozzarella. One of these days, do the same thing. Buy one of each 4 cheeses and add the correct amount, but just a mix in there. It's incredible. And then top it all off with marinara sauce, and it's a gourmet meal. What's his name? Why can't I think of his name? The mean chef from Britain, Gordon Ramsay. He'd be happy to sell that in his restaurant. So honestly, when I'm making a new pre-mixed seasoning, I just make a batch. If I'm playing with different additives, I'll usually make a few different ones with different percentages of that additive and then cook up patties. That's a great way to see what you're going to end up with. If you're following the labeled instructions, that's what it's going to taste like. You can add a little bit, you can take a little bit away, but it'll be fine. When you start playing around with adding different extra things, that's where you want to start making small patties, just to know, should I be adding more or less to the rest of the batch. Oh God, I love this bratwurst. I'm taking these home with me, and I envision somewhere around 2:45 this morning, I will be waking up and eating the rest of them. Canadian bacon to this. Well, now I can't stop thinking about that. Yes, but I don't know why. What made you think to ask that? Oh, to the pizza broth. No. Pepperoni is the seasoning to add to the pizza broth. You've bothered my brain though. A little salty ham flavor in this. That might be dangerous. I mean, regular bacon would be good, but honestly, whatever ham Allie used last night on those appetizers would maybe be the best. It will not be tomorrow's project. We've got some A-roll to shoot tomorrow, and then we got to start getting ready to head up to Montana. So we won't have time for that. In the weeks to come, I've got the rest of a bag of seasoning here. What do I want to know about Australia? My biggest question would be, why do you live there? Everything's trying to kill you. No, I'm just kidding. I know it's really not that dangerous there. What are you most afraid of? Like, what are Australians afraid of in Australia? Is it crocodiles? Is it sharks? Is it jellyfish? Is it snakes? Yeah, and Texas question. Do you make sausage out of kangaroo? Because kangaroos just look like really tough deer. Like if you look at a deer's face and ears and look at a kangaroo's face, they're very similar. Yes, Australia is real. Kangaroo snags, or does that say stags? Yeah. So that must be sausages. I ate some kangaroo and I did not like it. I was actually surprised by how much I didn't like it. We ordered it over the internet though, so maybe it wasn't well handled before we got it. That's always possible. So you're saying jellyfish is what you're most afraid of? So our resident Marine was in Perth, and he enjoyed kangaroo. So maybe we just didn't cook it well. That's possible too. I mean, I have off days just like everybody else. Might have done a bad job cooking it, or it might have been frozen and defrosted too many times. Possible. So I've never had crocodile, but we've eaten alligator. And alligator is delicious. Tail, I think, is almost all of what we eat here. I think we got some leg meat too. The leg meat did taste more like fish than the tail side. I figured you were in the Marine Corps while you were down there. Oh, so is it like beef here? I thought it'd be more like venison. Like I thought it would be you either hunt it or specialty shops for kangaroo. I want to eat more of that, but I also want to eat it at 2:30 in the morning. Emu is good. I've had, you know what, surprisingly, other than, and I won't talk about it or too much, because I know everyone's sick of me hearing it. Mountain Lion was amazing. But one of the things that surprised me the most of how much I liked was Camel. Camel was freaking delicious. I got some camel steaks, sous vide them, and then finished them up on a super hot grill, and they were absolutely delicious. So yeah, they're available in just normal grocery stores. Interesting. So people farm them? It's a farmed animal? Like people have kangaroo farms? And how many great whites have you seen? I also want to know that. How many great whites and how many crocodiles have you seen? Nope. So you do, right? It's a soft padded animal, so you have to worry about trichinosis. But no, they're not known to have worms at all. It is like very, very tender pork. So the best that we could come up with, and this is just, you know, our idiot brains, is that they're either sprinting and like doing high muscle activities and building muscle, or cats are famously lazy. So they're either sprinting or they're laying around. There's no in between for them. So nice and tender. And a little bit sweeter than pork too. Just like not much sweetness, but just a little bit of sweetness. It was delicious. Yeah, bears definitely have worms. Bear worries me a little bit. I'm not sure. I've never had bear, other than I think in a snack or a jerky once. But I don't know what I would do with a bear ham. I'd probably feel better about putting it into some sort of sausage and cooking that all the way up to 165. Because trichinosis is not something you want to mess around with. So he lives in croc country. Oh, great. Going in the ocean is dangerous. But roos are... So, okay. So is it just like, can a grocery store owner go out and kill a kangaroo, butcher it, and sell it in his shop? Or are there kangaroo farms you buy them from? And I'm sorry to everyone else. I'm going to talk to this guy about Australia until... I apologize. If other people have questions, get them in. U.S. Marine Corps hack says it's better than pork ham. Sure. But, I mean, there's a reason that they no longer say you have to cook pork to 165. It's because nobody gets trichinosis from pork anymore. It just doesn't happen. Lots of people get trichinosis from ham. Or, sorry, from bear. Not lots. Some. What's the biggest crocodile you've ever seen? And then I've got to go after that. I want to know the biggest crocodile you've ever seen. All I want is for all the water on the earth to drain for a minute, and I can just look at the biggest of everything. Biggest crocodile, biggest shark, biggest whale, biggest squid. If I had one wish, that would be it. Hard to get a gun, so there has to be some kind of processing when you buy it all wrapped up. Yeah. Yeah. I remember the stories of when your government told you had to hand in your guns. At that point, I was not a huge Second Amendment guy. I am now. And man, you could have used some internet influence back then telling you not to do that. 6 meters. So a meter is 3.5 feet. So that's 20, 18, 21 feet. Whoa, 22 feet? Yeah. God. Oh God, that's scary. That is so scary. And crocs are like one of the few animals that you can say actively hunts people. They don't care. They're going to eat something that they see. They are dinosaurs, basically. Aaron, thanks for coming. French onion brat, 100% worth it. Like I said, maybe my favorite bratwurst seasoning now. I can't think of something off the top of my head. Philly and Supreme have always been like kind of 1 and 2, for not always, but have been 1 and 2 for me for a long time. This is pushing them out of the way. One meter equals 3.9. I thought it was 3.5. Oh, 39 inches. Yeah. Is that what you're saying? 39 inches? No. Yeah, that is what that is. Okay, so 3.5 feet. All right, guys, I'm gonna get to cleaning. This was a lot of fun. I hope all of you get a chance to try this at some point, because it is absolutely friggin' delicious. We'll see you.